Hey girl, hey, Julie Bender here of #PrayingForYourHusbandDaily. I wanted to let you in on what is this series all about. So I'm Julie. I am a former widow, happily remarried to the true love of my life. I'm a boy mom and I had a period of being a single mom, and I come from a pretty dysfunctional childhood that led me into my first marriage, which was really unhealthy in a lot of ways, and yet I was married to a man who really struggled with mental health, depression, anxiety, and really an ungodly picture of what Christian marriage should look like. At the time I was first married, I was working in full-time ministry, so I had a heart to honor God in my wifing, and I really desired what I thought the Bible described marriage to be. And I found myself repeatedly disappointed in the way my marriage actually looked on a regular basis. I would talk to my first husband about my disappointments and the things that I thought we had committed to together that weren't really showing up in the way we walked our marriage on the regular. And he kind of met me with blank stares, or worse, forms of emotional abuse that really turned it around to say that I was expecting too much, or that my thoughts of what a marriage should be like were unrealistic, that I lived in a Christian bubble, or things like that. So after years of really feeling like there was more to this marriage thing that I desired, and even that God wanted for marriage, but I wasn't able to get on the same page with my first husband about that, I turned to the Lord to really give me a new picture of what I could do with my marriage. He led me to a book called The Power of a Praying Wife, which I picked up honestly thinking it would finally change my husband. I thought maybe he'd see me reading it and get his act together, or at bare minimum, I would learn things in it that would help me change him. And what I really found was that the Lord had to do a work in me, that I was looking for some satisfaction, some value and worth, significance and purpose from my husband or from my marriage that I was never gonna get. Even in the healthiest of marriages, like what I have now with my new husband, it's never going to fully complete us. Our marriage is not the end all be all. And yet, marriage is absolutely a gift from God, and it is meant to glorify Him. So in that book, I really began to see that a lot of the things that I was desiring from my marriage could be found in my relationship with God. And a lot of the things that I desired to see change in my marriage were of God's desire as well. But even if I didn't see those changes happen, I could turn to the Lord and He would meet me in those seasons of wanting, those seasons of disappointment. I began a habit of praying regularly, in fact, daily, in a public way, for my marriage, for my husband, and for other wifeys who found themselves in a similar situation, where they had desires and needs in their marriage that weren't being met by their husband. Or maybe you have a happy, healthy marriage, and yet you want to be investing in it regularly through praying for different areas of your marriage without just falling into a routine of always praying for the same things. That's where this series began, and it's my desire to bring up some topic of marriage that is happening in my own life, maybe a conversation I've had with my husband, or a scenario that has taken place in now my second marriage, that is bringing to mind a way that we can pray for our marriages to be centered on Christ and happily connected with each other. We'll talk about that, and then we will pray for that specific area, whether it's communication in your marriage, whether it's your sexual relationship, whether it's temptation, whether it's your personality types, whether it's parenting, maybe it's conflict resolution. All these kinds of things and more will be talked about here on #PrayingForYourHusbandDaily. I hope you'll come along in the journey. More importantly, I hope you'll adopt the habit of praying regularly for your husband as well. And I hope these videos will be a resource for you and in your marriage. If you're ready to start the journey now of praying for your husband daily, I encourage you to go check out my playlist on my YouTube channel, where you can catch the archives of all of the videos that we've already done. Make sure you're following me on Instagram or Facebook so you can get weekly content as new videos are out, or you can subscribe to my YouTube channel as well. Be sure to check thejuliebender.com every single week for new blogs, new podcast episodes, and new videos of #PrayingForYourHusbandDaily.